I am. Are you?
Recording.
Great.
Yes.
Let's get right into it. The universe has told me to slow down this week. The universe was like,
Well, I
fuck
think
you,
the
Kev.
universe physically slowed you down.
The
this
universe
week.
told me to slow down. We'll get into it more after the insurance claim is handled. That's smart,
Casually
right?
drop.
See,
just casually drop that.
I'm smart, right? That was the smart move.
That's gonna be the first episode of
Litigious
2025.
he is.
The insurance claim. That's the episode.
No, dude. We were just talking about this before we even went live, but I've almost died a lot in life. You are saying you've been through similar experiences. You've almost
got my
died
head
a lot.
blown off in the Marine Corps. That was cool.
That is almost dying. Yes, very much so. Was it a grenade or a bullet? Was it a grenade? Grenade or bullet? Or just high-speed projectile? What is this? Was it a vehicle you were fixing? What's going on here?
It was a bullet.
Tell me, how'd you
head.
almost get your head blown off? Hit me with that. This is a good way to start the podcast.
It was a bullet that went by my head.
A bullet. Live bullet went by your head.
Yeah, so...
In real time.
Yeah.
And then you had a tampon on your ear for a week.
And then I ran for president.
And then you ran for president. and your ear was magically healed.
Yep.
All right, keep going. What do you got? What happened here?
So, the 50 cal weapon system.
50 cal?
Yeah, it was a 50 cal
That's
round.
a big bullet.
It's a very big bullet.
That's like you would hold it with like an open fist. It's so big. Okay, keep going. This is getting better.
So, man, I bet God, I'm probably gonna screw up some of the terminology here, but from my memory,
don't get too much into the jargon. Just give us the overview.
Well, this part's important. It's what's called an open bolt system. So the way that works is that when the round is chambered and the bolt is back, and you're holding the handles, when the bolt goes forward, it fires the round.
Oh.
Right. So if you already have one chambered and you rack it, it can fire.
Okay.
Right?
So there's a bolt system. You're holding it back. It gets racked. When you let go, because it's in the chamber, it fires.
Yeah. So we were in a convoy, and we were doing a live fire exercise in 29 Palms. Yeah. And 7 tons are like the really big truck systems, and
there were 29 Palms holding back this bolt. No, I'm just kidding.
So
these guys suck.
As we finish firing, we do a round robin. So the trucks go up and they do a U, and everybody points their weapons up, and they you unchamber, and everybody's clear, and then as you round robin, the trucks drive back on the road, and you drive back, right? Because you're at the end of the convoy.
Somebody didn't clear their chamber.
As we're round robining. One of the lead trucks, I'll never forget this guy. He was a super big redneck from Alabama, heart of gold. His name was Rummel. He was on the 50 cal.
That's an Alabama name.
It's his last name too, which
that's his only name.
It's his only name.
Yeah, that is what he is called both in civilian and military life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think his friends called him his last name.
I know.
He had it tattooed on his back.
When someone gives you their full name and their last name's Rummel, you're just like, oh, well, that's your name now.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
So as he's round robining around, you're putting up your weapon systems and you're locking them in place. Well, I don't know what happened, but as we're round robining, the T handle that holds his 50 cal in place, I don't know if it snapped or broke or whatever. But on top of that, the ring at the top that you usually have a crank handle to click, so you can easily adjust with little
you usually have a way to adjust and control it better.
Yeah.
Okay.
It spun around, and as he's holding the bolt back to unchamber and everything, he accidentally let go as his truck is round robining as mine is coming up, and the bullet whizzed by my head.
Heart of gold, hands of butter. This man. That's it. All right, let's fucking go. Sorry to reduce your near-death experience to a catchphrase, but there we are.
Water.
All right. You ready to clap?
I'm very much ready to clap.
All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Unpop Podcast. Your unkillable co-hosts here. Capitan Todo El Siempre, Kevin Miner, him, accompanied by Bullet Dodger himself.
Odie Matthews, we're never gonna die, David.
You heard it here
you
first.
Can't kill me.
You're not going to play this material at our funerals. We're going to play this material at your funerals.
I'm gonna live forever.
It's going to be us in podcast form. You know what? That actually...
Upload my conscience to my
That's what
gravestone
we
so
should
can
do, is we should podcast live from a funeral. If anybody listening, because I know a lot of our good friends listen, if you want us live at your funeral, email us at mysecretpoweris@gmail.com. Yes, that's our email. Yes, I've never given that out before. It is mysecretpoweris@gmail.com.
No spaces, no caps.
Email us if you want us to podcast at your funeral. We're starting that now.
So
if we get a request, we have to do it. Just so
I
I don't care where we have to fly. We're going.
I'm assuming you're going to pay for it.
I will put aside money for this.
No, it's part of the funeral cost.
That should be. Yes, put it in your will. Okay. If you want us to podcast at your funeral, 1, email us. 2, put it in your will so that it gets executed upon by the person who has power of attorney, who's very obviously going to look at your will and go, "Who the fuck is Unpop?"
It's not your money anymore. You're dead, so who cares?
That's exactly what I needed this morning. Chef Odie, what are you cooking this week?
I think that we should upload our consciousness into our gravestones, be buried next to each other, and then put speakers on them so we can just podcast forever.
That would be great. Oh my God. And have it logarithmically generate new material and then respond to each other. Like, oh my God, that would be fucking hilarious.
Just
like
a forever conversation.
Just a like, not even in a graveyard. Like, just buy a piece of like create a piece of private property that can be held indefinitely and purchase it at two graves, not a graveyard, just 2 graves. I'm getting cremated. What do you want?
Cremated.
Okay, cool. So just 2 graves.
2 vases.
Some ashes get scattered there, but and then just a couple speakers feeding each other this loop of nonsense that goes on forever.
This doesn't really work though because I'm not going to be able to be cremated because I'm never going to die. So I got to wait till the sun explodes.
Oh, true. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Anyways, what have we done today?
I asked you, what are you cooking?
Last night I made some enchiladas.
Yes, and then the content. The content. Yes. What are you cooking content-wise?
A couple episodes ago? 2 episodes ago, we talked about what was coming up in 2025.
Yes.
Last week, we kind of took a detour to talk about the disaster that was the Lord of the Rings movie, and the fun time was Craven.
It's very bad.
Oh God. And you know what sucks about that? I've been talking to friends that like are Lord of the Rings fans, like my DM. We're starting up D&D again here soon, and like my bud Tinder friend, and they're both like, "Oh yeah, we want to see it. Let me know how it is." And like, I told them, and the look on their face was just pure disappointment.
Yeah, I texted my friend group that I normally go to the theater with, and it kind of played out like a I think you should leave conversation where I was like, hey, you guys, if you want to go, I'm going tonight. And they were like, we can't make it. And then my next text was like, when I got out, and I was like, hey, when you go, let me know what you think. And they were like, that means it's bad. And I was like, I said let me know what you think.
They're spot on to you because that's what you do to me.
They were like, he's saying it's bad. I was like, no, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying let me know what you think after you see it.
So this week, Kevin.
All right, hit me.
I am very excited because we are going to go over what was good, bad, and otherwise not really in between, but almost made the cut either way as being good or bad for 2024.
Honorable mention, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah, well, and the forgotten because as I mentioned to you, like I came up with some movies that I'm like, this came out this year?
Yes, okay. I was scouring stuff too. There's an item that's like on my top 5 for movies and film and TV this year that is like I forgot it came out this year because so much shit comes out now. Dude, there's so much shit all the time.
And you consume. It's funny because you consume more TV than I do, but I run circles around you with movies.
Oh yeah, well,
which is great.
Anime alone, I consume more TV than you,
which is because great. I like that dynamic.
But that's what so for me, I need the controlled shorter doses of things.
Oh yeah.
You know? So like and like when I'm about to get into bed and I notice I have like an extra half an hour, what's better than like an anime episode, right?
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's get into it. Top 5. We're starting at 5. We're working our way down to 1, which means this is the midway of a top 10 list. So this is where it starts to get good.
It gets hard.
Yes, and it gets hard. Yes, and this is what I texted you. I was like, this is going to be hard, so it's going to be meaningful, but it will also be more memorable. I think that it says a lot more about how we think about what we've consumed this year at the point that we're at right now, because we could go back in like a year and be like, you know what was really the best of 2024, and it might be different. But right now, the top 5, I think, is very indicative of how we feel about the year. So what's your number 5?
Oh, we're starting with best.
Yeah, best.
Oh,
yeah, we start with
okay.
Worst is going to be a bonus round.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so starting
number 5.
My number 5 this year, and TV show and movies. I will say right now, not a lot of TV shows on mine, but for me, and God, this was hard. My 5th favorite, I think, this year is gonna go to Roadhouse.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's going to be probably
Jake
the only
Gyllenhaal,
one that's really surprising on my list.
Future
honestly.
felon Conor McGregor.
And here's why.
Conor McGregor living out what became his real life.
Yeah, pretty much. But here's why I really liked Roadhouse.
Do you think the movie got to his head? I'm sorry.
I think it did.
Okay.
I think
going,
it did.
Keep going. What do you really like? I'm sorry.
I use that meme of him where he like, where the fuck did everybody go? That like whole scene. I use that all the time in my Magnum Opus videos.
As you should.
But the reason why Roadhouse made it for me,
yeah,
and I just like a little, I think the fact that it was like a contained, here's a very like grounded but also like kind of hyper realistic world. Yep. I loved the way that Jake Gyllenhaal performs. I love Billy Magnuson as the villain. I think he's incredible as an actor, and I just really enjoyed this like very bottled episode of this guy who's like a good fighter. You know, he's not like the best, but he's really fucking good, and he just like he gets the shit beat out of him a little bit. He beats the shit out of other people. It's really wholesome. I like the 2 like security bouncer guys that like have a friendship. Like I like it when he slaps that dude. He's like, "Dude, are you okay? I just slapped you." Like it's just it's good. It's funny. It's got good action, and I really thought it was a surprise hit. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did.
I think the thing that I probably appreciate the most about that is they save all the real cartooniness for like the peak of the third act.
When the boat
it gets
flies
ridiculous.
Through it.
Yeah.
That's
but it's just that. That's it though.
Scene.
Everything else escalates to that point, and then they're like, yeah, okay, we're gonna really like go over the line now. It's gonna get wild.
And I love that.
Yeah, and that was good. And I thought that was like just enough, like because it wasn't over the top the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
It's a good one.
Number 5 for me, and I was watching some stuff. I actually just rewatched it last night. Alien Romulus, number 5.
Okay. And
number
I knew
5
this was gonna be on your list. I knew it.
I loved it. Alien, like I've mentioned before, that was like the first sci-fi / horror movie that I ever really watched. So I have like a sentimental attachment to it. This movie, I love the way the acts are broken up and how new threats are presented, because they're not necessarily bad guys, they're just threats to the human component of the film, right? And the overall message of the film is kind of like humans are not meant to colonize space. Like they even say it outright in the third act of the film. Like they're like, you know, humans are not meant to be out here. It should be something stronger and more vicious and like
made
dark.
By an android played by Michael Fassbender.
Yes. No, not Michael. Yeah, well, maybe that. Yeah. Well, him for sure.
The aliens were made by him.
Yes, technically.
Unfortunately.
Well, they were made by the architects or whatever the fuck. Anyway, that's a different movie. But Alien Romulus, what I really like is they show in the beginning just how shitty it is to live as a human way out in the galaxy, right? And then as the film goes on, even though these people are hoping for the best, it keeps getting worse. And I even listened to a little bit about like the composition, because I love the score of this film. I love the way that they use silence. I love the way that they use the ship's sounds. I love the way that they incorporate what would be heard as like ship's sounds into
it's
the score.
Don't Breathe, right? So that explains
Yes.
the silence.
So Fede Alvarez and the music director just crushed on this. Like, I think they did such a good job creating an atmosphere, and then the actors really tied everything together. They used practical effects, which we always love. Fede Alvarez, actually, he talked about what a difference that makes and how it kind of brings soul to the film, and I just love that. So, number 5, Alien Romulus.
And I need to still watch that because Alien Earth is coming soon. So I was going to
ask you, have you seen Alien Romulus?
Not yet. It's on my list.
Oh, what?
I know. I was going to watch it.
That's why it's not on your top 5. It's because you didn't watch it yet.
I was going to watch it last night, but then I got caught up doing something else, which is my jam. But here's
Let's take a break. Go watch Alien Romulus. Revamp your top 5. Let's come back.
1 hour and 19 minutes later.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Number 1.
I can't believe it didn't make your top 5.
It's an honorable mention. We should do one of our deep dives should be the convoluted history of of the Alien universe.
Yeah, it's a little bit convoluted, but I like where it's going now.
Especially with Alien Earth.
I like the new history from Prometheus, Covenant, Romulus. Yeah.
So
really good.
Okay. My number 4.
Yeah.
And this is the one that's probably going to surprise everybody because I didn't talk about this on the podcast at all.
Okay.
But it is going to be the anime movie My Hero Academia, You're Next.
Oh, nice. That's wholesome.
I got to see that in theaters with my other best friend down in Florida when I was there for his wedding. I landed at how did we do this? I landed at 9:30. The movie started at 10. We got there at 10:15. We got done at midnight or 12:30.
Yeah. And
then we had to be up at 4 a.m. to drive to the wedding venue. It was super fun. After I flew 18 hours.
Yeah.
It was incredible. It's no surprise. My Hero is one of my favorite animes. I have 2 tattoos from it. Yeah. I loved this movie. I really, really, really fucking love the My Hero movies because they're not canon in the manga necessarily, but they are from the creator. So they are perfect little interruptions between certain seasons that are canon in the show, but not really talked about because they're kind of bottled, you know?
Oh, hell yeah.
And Your Next brought in European villains. It brought in new quirks. We got to see more of All Might. It really just did a good job of, again, showing that world. It's one of my favorite animes. It's dude, there's a moment, and we had the theater to ourselves, and there was a moment where Mark and I were like, yeah, they broke the animation budget because it does that thing where it just goes to 4 frames a second with streams of light and everything.
Yeah. Well, okay. Sometimes it's that they broke the animation budget. Sometimes that's actually a deep cut for manga fans where they go to 4 frames per second because what they're doing is they're highlighting panels. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times I like when they do that because it breaks it up. It kind of makes you feel like you're reading a manga for a second. Yeah. As a big anime manga fan, I do appreciate that. I haven't seen an anime film in theaters other than Lord of the fucking Rings all year.
Oh,
so.
Dude, I watched all the when JJK
had. No, I saw Demon Slayer. Never mind.
I would say I usually the Demon Slayer ones, the JJK, My Hero.
Demon Slayer wasn't a movie though. It was the finale and then the first 2 episodes of the new season.
That's why I didn't see that one. Yeah. I saw the. Yeah, anyways, My Hero, You're Next. Cool. When it hits Crunchyroll or whatever, I would recommend it. Even if you don't know anything about My Hero, what I love about these movies, if you want just some cool superhero stuff, but a little different, you can literally plop into any of the My Hero movies and fucking enjoy them.
Hell yeah. Number 4 for me, this is where it really got hard. I knew number 5 was Alien Romulus. I was like, that's my line.
I knew
and then
my
everything
1 and 2.
above this is going to be hard. Wicked is number 4. Wicked is phenomenal. Great acting, great score. Totally did way better than I thought a musical movie would do. Really great storytelling. I love everything about it. If you want to hear me talk about it more, listen to the Wicked episode.
Yes.
That's it.
That one
really good.
That one was really hard for me to
Everybody was great, and Ariana Grande was a special surprise in that.
Just, and
special surprise. Loved it.
Everybody I've talked to about Wicked, that's oh, yeah, I haven't seen it yet because I don't like Ariana Grande. My immediate response is, yeah, neither do I, but this is incredible.
She's good.
Yeah.
She's good.
And when I say I don't like Ariana Grande, I just mean that, her music and her Fortnite skin aren't for me.
And it's beyond, and that's maybe like, we don't have to get into this, but maybe that's the issue with everybody being a brand, is you begin to associate whatever their brand is with everything that they're doing, which you shouldn't, because this is very different from the brand that she has. Yeah.
She's a singer and she's in a musical. So when I say I don't like Ariana Grande, I'm talking about her music.
And a lot of people like probably don't even know that she got her start on Broadway still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Disney Channel. My number 3, and this one was hard because I knew it was in my top 5. I just didn't know where it was going to end up. Fallout, the show. Because as someone who has played Fallout for so long, we did the Fallout deep dive. It is, Jesus Christ. It is just, it's everything I could have ever dreamed of. I've rewatched it 3 times.
I forgot that came out this year.
I did not.
That's number 6 for me.
Because Ella Purnell just absolutely crushing it this year at the Game Awards with Arcane and Fallout.
Yeah.
Her show Sweet Pea, that's an honorable mention in terms of like not my top 10, but like a good show that I really enjoyed.
Her 15 minutes is pretty fantabulous so far. Yeah. Cool.
Fallout is just and I understand.
What's your favorite part about the Fallout show?
I love seeing all the things from the games that I love in real life. I love seeing the power armor. I loved seeing the Brotherhood of Steel. I love seeing Radaway, ghouls. I loved all the different guns. I loved seeing Iguana on a stick. I loved all of it. And it's funny because I was talking to a couple people about the Game Awards, and you and I have talked about awards. Award shows are stupid. Like,
I don't like award shows.
Oscars are paid for. The Billboard Awards this year were fucking
We
garbage.
say we don't like award shows as we do a top 5.
Yeah, but if you could, but also if anybody wants to
we
give
hate
us an
awards, but we're gonna give some out this episode.
But if you want to give us an award,
yeah,
we'll take
podcast award shows.
We'll take it.
Those are great.
We'll take a potty.
We endorse those.
But like, I think, some people were like, "Oh, like I can't believe Fallout won Best Video Game Adaptation," and I'm like, I can. Like, Arcane is objectively a better show. It's got a better story. It's more complete. It's also,
but it's not a full-on adaptation.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like Fallout is one season,
it's its own thing.
And it's not done. But in terms of adapting League of Legends to a show and the Fallout games to a show, it's undeniable that the Fallout show is a better adaptation of that game universe. It doesn't mean it's a better story. It doesn't mean it's a better world. It just means it's adapting that source material better. And it's just really funny because all the Arcane people were like, no. And I'm like, you guys are missing, like, Arcane won other awards, guys. It's fine.
Well,
it's also League of Legends.
If I was going to describe communities as whiny, I would say video game communities are the whiniest, right?
What?
Yeah, like for sure.
You mean because all the Destiny 2 people that whined nonstop when we played, Kevin?
Dude, they are the whiniest. Like, and I say this as someone who has whined about video games.
Yeah.
Before. Like I've been there. So like I'm also self-diagnosing. I'm including myself in there. All right, number 3 for me. I've mentioned this a few times in the past few weeks. Orb. I love Orb.
Really? Already made your top 3?
It's on the top 3. The episode last week locked it in. It is such a like.
Okay, I'm adding it to my list right now.
It's such a low stakes show as far as like you know that we live in a heliocentric universe, but every episode I just find myself loving these characters and their grasp for love and life and knowledge and learning, and like it's so interesting. Like, and I don't know, it's really the way that I would describe it, I'm not doing this. This number 3 isn't for anyone else. Like, I'm not hoping anyone else jumps on. It's like, yeah, number 3 for sure. Like, this is just me going, I enjoyed this the third most out of anything else this year. It's an anime about people studying the mathematical principles that govern our sun-centered galaxy. That's it.
I'm going to watch it. I added it to my list. It's
so good. All right. Number 2 for you.
Oh, okay. So this
my number 2 is a 2. All right, hit me.
I bet you your number 2 is my number 1. My number 2 is Longlegs, and
the horror movie.
Yes,
with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I still haven't seen that.
What I like about
I'll trade
this,
you. You watch Alien Romulus. I'll watch Longlegs.
Deal. That's
all right. Let's go watch them, and then we'll come back and change our top 5. So wait, hold on.
Pause
Take a break.
Another hour and 19 minutes later.
I can't believe you didn't change your top 5 still. Okay. You watch Alien Romulus twice now, and you haven't
I'm
changed
saving it for number 1, Kevin. We've been over this.
Fuck! All right.
Well,
you know what? Longlegs is honorable mention only.
Longlegs is incredible, and it almost made my number 1. And the reason why, and I understand there's some criticism around it, and there's some people that are like, oh, it's overhyped and it's overrated, and that's fine.
How is it overhyped? It got like no hype before it came out.
I really like the lead, and I can't really pronounce her name, but she's very much like Ella Purnell.
Yeah. Imagine saying good reviews are overhyping.
Like, okay, and the thing is, like, I understand why some people are like, oh yeah, like that movie's overhyped, because in the end, like in the third act, it takes a turn, like an M. Night Shyamalan kind of turn.
I do know the turn it takes because
it works. Like, I really think that, like, for me, I was like, the entire movie, you're waiting for that element to be, like, some element to be introduced to, like, explain it. Yeah. And for me, I got to the point in the movie where I was like, oh, cool. Like, I would have accepted anything because, honestly, like, this is just such a good story. Nicolas Cage is incredible.
I like when that happens, yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah,
and
cool.
I'm
Did you say Ella Purnell's in this, too?
No.
Okay.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to find...
I thought you were saying Ella Purnell's in this, too. I was like, what? She's just wild.
Her name is, and I'm gonna probably pronounce it wrong, but it's like Maika Monroe. It's Maika.
Okay.
Maika Monroe. She's really, really, really fucking good.
Okay.
She's an incredible actress, but I really love horror movies, and there's a horror one on my honorable mention. But for me, I don't like slasher, gory, body horror movies. Like, no. I'm not, like, I love the Scream franchise. That's a little different, but like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and like that Cannibal Green Inferno movie. Like, I like horror movies where it's more
you don't like torture porn.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I like the suspenseful, jump scare, what's around the corner kind of like Don't Breathe is a great example.
Yeah, and we didn't have a term for that until after Hostel came out, right?
Yeah.
But now we know that's what we're more so referring to as torture porn, right?
Yeah.
And we call it porn because it's like there's some weird,
some people love it.
There's some weird love for it. Yeah.
But I like horror movies that have this kind of element. I love a good mystery detective horror thing, kind of like Alone in the Dark, the video game series is kind of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just Long Legs was just incredible. Good horror, good. Just I'm gonna watch that again today probably. Anyways,
good. No, you're watching Romulus for a third time.
I'll watch them at the same time.
All right. My second is Dune Part 2.
That's not what I thought you were gonna put.
It's number 2.
I thought you were gonna put Moana 2.
No. My second is Dune Part 2.
Why is your number 1?
I actually forgot that came out this year until we were doing this. This year is February.
It was February?
Yeah, it was like February
Holy
time.
Shit.
Yeah, so it was a long time ago. But Dune Part 2 was an experience. I loved every bit of it. I got my stupid cup, I got it here still. But I went and saw it in theaters, and I was excited for it, but I was also a little bit nervous that it might not be as good as I thought it would be. And then it was everything I thought it would be. Like, even making fun of the whole Lisan al-Gaib meme that came out of it. And I'm so glad. What's really great about that movie is, like, everybody got it as, like, both a meaningful and, like, scary thing, but also a joke. Like, it became a joke, but also we were like, yeah, but that's fucked up because people do that.
And Dune Prophecy just got renewed for season 2.
Dune Prophecy is amazing, and it's on my honorable mentions. All right, what's your number 2?
Long Legs.
Oh, yeah, because you did 2. Okay, sorry. What's your number 1? I could go on about Dune, but here's what I'm gonna keep saying. If you want to know more about what I think about Dune, go to the Dune episode. No, there's an episode on it. I don't have to talk for 20 minutes on Dune.
Yeah, I was saying we have an episode on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was agreeing with you.
Did you say
my
watch
number
it
1
or listen
is
to it?
The Acolyte.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding. It's not. It's Dune Part 2.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, I just want to see if you
Dune Part 2 is your number 1.
Dune Part 2 is number 1 for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, go watch the Dune episode. We talk about it. We talk about the movie Dune episode if you want my full opinions. Listen to our Dune deep dive if you want all the backstory. It's a pretty easy decision for me. Greg Fraser's behind the camera.
Yep.
Denis Villeneuve is the director.
Yep.
I have fallen madly in love with Timothée Chalamet, and
Great.
Josh Brolin is one of my all-time favorites.
Great. There's so many great people in this.
It's a beautiful movie. It's,
Jessica Ferguson, fucking Zendaya. Yeah, like everybody in these films they're just killing it,
Is Dave Bautista in this one?
I think the only thing that brought it down to number 2 for me is Christopher Walken.
Oh.
As the Emperor.
Yeah. So, the thing
that was a weird, like,
yeah.
I think, okay, there's a thing that I think is happening. I think that, and I do not mean this in an ageist way. I mean this in a purely looking at it from like a marketing perspective way. I think that older actors are being cast to make sure a certain demographic shows up.
Oh, dude.
You know what I mean?
Every Clint Eastwood movie.
Well, not just that, but
yeah,
like
no, you're
very
right,
specifically in this film. And then there was another one that I saw recently where I'm like, oh, I think you cast this guy to bring in an older demographic. Oh, The Wicked. Like I thought in Wicked, I was like, oh, you cast Jeff Goldblum because then older people would be like, I know him, I'll go. You know, and I think that was Christopher Walken in this film because it could have been. You're in a fucking universe where spice is supposed to like keep you alive for a very long time, and like not only that, but in pretty good health. And you've got this aging Christopher Walken dude. Like I think you could have gotten a guy with like Les Gray, who maybe is I think a better actor for a very serious sci-fi franchise. I think he's a great actor, just not for this.
I think that's kind of like the Jeff Goldblum thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, and this isn't something new. Like, Alec Guinness was cast in Star Wars because George Lucas thought he would bring in a wider like audience. Like, this isn't unusual.
Yeah.
Also, go ahead and talk about your number one, which I already know what it is. Go ahead. It is the show
Shogun.
I knew it.
Did you know?
I knew before you even mentioned off air that you had two, and you're like, here's the two I'm going to talk about. And you're like, Alien Romulus. I was like, that's either going to be 4 or 5. And you're like, Shogun. I was like, that's going to be number 1.
It
I was
is
like,
number
it's
1.
either going to be Dune.
Shogun was
it was
a
either going to be
masterpiece.
Dune or Shogun was my guess for your number 1.
Shogun is a masterpiece. I actually, so I was thinking about, like, as I was doing the top 5, Shogun originally started at number 2, and I didn't know what number 1 was going to be. And then I realized, because I had put it on the list before anything else, it was actually the thing that was top of mind for me, even though I've already watched the entire season twice. You know, like, at one point, it became like my nighttime TV watch, which is what happens with shows when they're good, is I'll rewatch them.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's 3 things that make this show amazing to me. 1, it got nominated for like 25 Emmys.
Oh, my God, yeah.
2, it is an American-made show about Japan where 70% of the dialogue is in Japanese with subtitles, which is just fucking insane. And so then to add on to that, also, it got nominated for crazy Emmys. Like, to me, this is kind of like Bong Joon-ho's
Parasite?
Parasite, yes. This is kind of like Parasite. You know, like, I'm like, wow, what a really cool cultural moment. Not only that, you see, like, the prowess of these actors throughout. They're playing, like, just after the Sengoku period, which is, like, the Warring States period of Japan. And so everything's, like, peaceful, but it's really, like, not. And it's political intrigue.
What year is this set?
Like, 1600s, early, like turn of that century.
Okay, is there any mention to, I don't know how to say the guy's name. It's like Yasuke, the first
Yasuke? No.
Yasuke,
No, that's later.
I wasn't sure.
But no, this focuses on Nobunaga, and like and Ishido. Like, there's so many good characters. The big thing is, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but the big thing is, like, they give you all the pieces that are telling you the big reveals. Then they complete the entire season, which is kind of about, like, you think that it's going to peak with, like, a huge military battle, kind of like Game of Thrones was doing for, like, multiple seasons. But instead, there's no huge military battle. And they show you what happens after the military battle in the last episode, the finale of the show. And not only that, they kind of show you, like, a weird dream sequence that may or may not be real, but is more likely not real. And, like... But what it's showing you is, in the show, they're like, hey, every person has 3 hearts. They have the heart that they show to the world, they have the heart that they show to the people that they love, and then they have the heart that they keep to themselves. And then the other theme of the show is fate. How do you approach fate? Are you someone who says fate controls my life? Are you someone who says I'll take fate into my own hands? Are you someone who says fate is an interactive thing where sometimes it's in control, sometimes I'm in control? Like, and as you see the characters act, those are the principles that each one of them is following the entire time. And then only in the final episode do you realize, like, how that all intertwined. It's so good. And not only that, there's a callback in the final episode to the first episode that's, like, fucking just perfect and subtle, and yeah, it's everything. It's everything I love about good film/TV.
Good. I need to watch
it. That's top 5.
Wow.
Hit me with your honorable mentions, and I will remove from my list my honorable mentions that you've mentioned.
My first honorable mentions, I'm going to go 10 to 6 because these are the ones that almost made my
cut. Yeah, good call.
So number 10 for me, Rebel Ridge.
Okay.
Marine Corps beating up some dirty cops. Love it.
Great, keep going.
Arcane Season 2.
Okay, phenomenal.
Came in late to that, so I didn't get to experience it all.
Yep, that was on mine.
Deadpool and Wolverine, because it was nice to see a fun Marvel movie for the first time since Endgame.
Also on mine, removing it.
Wicked, because I loved it, but you know it was just
wasn't top 5 material for you.
And then Moana 2, which I understand
very close to your top 5.
Yeah, and like that's the one. The reason I didn't put that in the top 5, I knew Moana 2 was going to be 6 no matter what, because
but it wasn't as good as you thought it was going to be.
I loved it, but I understand it's not that good.
Yeah,
It has that value. We talked about it.
All right, cool.
So what's those are, and then
I'm not even doing a 10 to 6. I'm doing honorable mentions. First honorable mention: Roadhouse.
Okay.
like I thought that was really good, but not good enough for top 5. Dune Prophecy, I think it's really good. If we were recording this a week from now, that might get bumped up depending on how the finale's tomorrow. So like I'm kind of waiting for the finale to see how it is. It's really, 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 really good so far, but like not over that hump that the top 5 made. Blue-Eyed Samurai.
Yes.
Penguin, which you have yet to see.
Yes. I started it.
Oh, good.
It's really good. 2 episodes in, baby.
It's really good. I love what's happening. Awesome. I love what's happening in DC, and I love what James Gunn has kind of come out and said, look, there's all these different versions of these. They don't have to always be wrapped up into the same universe. And I was like, thank you.
Did you watch the Superman trailer?
We were. Maybe we were universe fatigued, not superhero fatigued. Maybe we were universe fatigued.
Did you watch the
multiverse fatigued?
Did you watch the Superman trailer?
I did, and I loved it.
Oh my!
I know.
God.
I know.
That's my most anticipated movie of the year now.
Dude, not only that, like, I didn't realize that I could love like the early reveal of a dog so much. You know?
Anyways, okay, keep going.
All right. Also mentioning Spice and Wolf remake. Spice and Wolf is a classic anime about a merchant and a wolf goddess traveling the countryside together, learning about economics, which is fucking.
You just said economics. That did not click with me for a second. I was like, what?
It's all about trade and embargoes and just like it teaches you economics light in a very funny way with 2 characters who are like kind of romantically engaged that probably shouldn't be because one is quite literally a spirit god thing. Also, the last honorable mentions I have, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the show was phenomenal, but not good enough to make top 5. And
that would be like a number 11 or 12 for me.
And I didn't want to go through the effort of making a top 10. Like I was like, everything else is just honorable mention at this point.
10 would have been too hard for me, actually.
Yeah, and then my my last honorable mention. Most of season 2 of The Rings of Power.
Most of the season 2.
Most of season 2 of Rings of Power was phenomenal. I think it was a huge improvement upon season 1.
That's incredible.
Huge improvement, but it was really fucking good. The way that they started telling the story from Sauron's perspective, even from the opening scene of the show, where, spoiler alert, Sauron gets assassinated, in quotes, right? Because it goes back in time and it shows you like what happened and why he wasn't in such great power and what he's going through, you know? It's really good. I loved it, and it's expanding on lore in good and bad ways. So like I'm very wishy-washy. Like some of it I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm so glad we have this in this universe that's never been fully fleshed out. And then some of it I'm like, really?
So season 3 will be the tell for you.
I think season 3 will be a make or break point.
It kind of has to be because it's one good, one bad. Now season 3 kind of.
Yeah. One mostly good, one mostly bad.
Yeah.
So
now you need one that's just good.
Combined, they would be a good thing. You know, just if you took the good parts of each, it would have been great.
Carry the 2. You know.
Yeah. All right.
That's awesome.
Bonus round, like we said. It's top 5 worst. So let's go from 5 to 1 again. And since you started with the top 5 best, I'll start with the top 5 first.
Yes.
Number 5, Damsel. This movie was fucking horrible.
Okay, that's on my list of ones that you might have forgotten came out this year. So
Okay,
just remove.
Not only did I forget this came out, when I was reminded it came out, it immediately went on worse things that came out this year. Because incredible. It was so. I remember texting you while watching this, going, "This is bad."
I remember that,
and I wanted it to be good because it's doing the thing we want to do. What it's doing is it's taking the story about a damsel in distress. It's taking the classic Germanic story about slaying a dragon and saying, nope, it's a girl. But then they do everything wrong that I don't like with a story. I wouldn't like this even if it was a dude.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
it
like
seemed like it was bad.
Yeah, it was bad. They break their own laws of the universe, like, and then the end just is like it builds up to the point that it's gonna get to it. Yeah, it's not good. Number 5 for you, hit me.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, okay, that's on my list.
Because and it might not be worse.
The War of the Rohirrim you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not worse than some of my honorable mentions for worse, but because I was like, for the first time in my life, I was excited to watch something Lord of the Rings. I've never been excited for a Lord of the Rings before. I was too young for the original trilogy in theaters.
Yeah.
Hobbit was I fell asleep in the second Hobbit, I think. I've never watched Ring of Power. So, like, this one, I was like, it's animated. It looks good. I was excited. And then I was just so fucking disappointed.
This movie broke my phrase, should have been an anime,
I know,
which makes me mad enough.
It's so funny that we found a way to break that. That's awesome. All
right. Number 4 for me, you made me watch this.
Oh,
Borderlands. God. I fucking hate this movie. I'm so mad that I saw this movie. I hate it. I hate that I saw it in theaters. I hate that I got there wasn't a good cup for it, but so the silver lining was I got the other Mad Max cup that looks like a gas cap, and that was great. I enjoyed that and sitting in the back of the theater texting you going, this is fucking horrible.
It was awful. My goal is one of these years, your worst 5 are going to be 5 movies I forced you to see.
It's likely to happen, Magnum Opus. Yeah. That's your thing. That's your shtick.
That's my
thing. I'm somehow tied to it now.
Yes, you are. We're tied to my brand whether you like it.
I'm getting off this boat. So number 4, Borderlands. It was just bad all around.
Oh.
There were some redeeming moments from the actors, but overall just bad.
Okay, can I do this then?
Yeah.
Because I agree with you on Borderlands. Can I swap Borderlands off of my bottom 5 for something else? Because I agree with you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on.
You didn't even have to ask me that. You could have just done it. I wouldn't have known. We didn't reveal these to each other. But yeah, no, like even the final battle, I was like, where's the big thing? Like that's honestly okay. Had the
turned into a phoenix.
Had the big monster shown up in full, like had it been like the actual video game at all at the end, I would have probably gone, you know what? Okay, all right. I'm just not even going to talk about it. It's fine. But it's bad. The whole thing's bad. All right. What do you got?
Okay, so my number 4, I'm going to go with the movie because it was actually Borderlands at number 4 for me.
Oh, great.
But I'm going to swap that for another movie I hated.
Hit it.
Trap. I saw that in theaters.
Who's in that one?
It's Josh Hartnett.
Oh, yeah. Josh Hartnett trying to get back into his moody, broody stage.
Yeah.
Because he went through that, remember? He was in Lucky Number 11, which is actually a good movie.
Do you know that movie?
Yes, I love that movie. It's a great movie.
Oh, my God.
It's a great movie.
Nobody I know has ever seen that movie.
I love that movie. I think I own that movie.
I had it
on DVD. Yeah. All right, cool.
Anyways.
Yeah,
Josh Hartnett.
Let's get back to the bad.
Dude, that literally, you just blew my mind because I swear nobody's ever seen that movie.
No, I love Lucky Number 11. It's so good.
Lucy Liu's in it.
Isn't Morgan Freeman in it? Like,
Morgan Freeman, Lucy Liu, Josh Hartnett.
Fucking
there's another big person that plays the
Freddy
other
Krueger.
Yeah, it's oh my God, it's fucking
wild.
Incredible.
Bruce Willis. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, Bruce.
Keep going.
Oh Jesus. Anyways,
keep going.
Yeah, Trap had so much potential, and it honestly,
yeah,
the first half of that movie, incredible.
Oh, good.
Back half of that movie, dog shit.
First half of the movie, honorable mention. Back half of the movie, top 5 worst.
Dude, okay. Spoiler alert for Trap. Don't waste your time.
Okay.
The premise is, he's a serial killer. He's at a concert with his daughter.
And they're looking for a serial killer.
Yeah, the concert's a setup.
And you think the twist might be that he's not?
No, well, they lay it out like he has a certain tattoo, because in my mind when I was like saw in the trailer, I was like, how do they know who to look for? He has this. They found out that the butcher, that's the serial killer, has a tattoo on his wrist. So they're checking everybody's wrists for that tattoo as they're leaving. Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. They set this up like there's a very small thing. They've got like this FBI person that's like this lady that's like chasing him, and he's like, he's doing all this cool stuff, and then halfway through he just reveals he's the serial killer to the lead singer of the concert, and then he kidnaps her, and then the rest of the movie's like him at his house where she knows he's a serial killer but his family doesn't, and it's just him like at his house and like her trying to like it's just bad. Like I can't even explain. It just goes.
It sounds like it was a good idea that just wasn't executed.
Yeah,
properly.
they left. The trap is done halfway through. He leaves the concert halfway through the movie.
Oh, I don't like that. Don't call the movie that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah. All right. Cool. What are we at now? Number 3, right? Yeah. Number 3, some of the Rings of Power Season 2. that's my number 3 is some of the Rings of Power Season 2 they did not learn from the first season. There's still some moments that are very much Galadriel just being like, I'm right all the time and you all need to listen to me. And like there's a big reveal in Season 2. It's probably, fuck it. They reveal that the wizard who falls in Season 1, which was like a big mystery. And all throughout Season 2, I'm like, oh, this might be one of the Istari who's like, he's one of the blue wizards, because that would be cool. And then they reveal another wizard. I'm like, that is likely one of the blue wizards. And then I was like, oh, cool. So it's going to be a battle of the blue wizards. We don't know what happens to them. Like, this is cool. They can craft their story. And then toward the end, like, I think it might even be the last episode, they're like, and he's Gandalf. And I was like,
he be alive then?
Fucking assholes. Well, no. Oh, no. Gandalf, he's an Istari. They're like pretty much immortal. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I mean, you see, he fights a Balrog to the death, goes to heaven, and they're like, hey, come back to Middle Earth. You're white now. You have a purpose.
White.
You're Gandalf the White. You're not gray anymore. But yeah, so it was just bad. Some of it. A lot of it was masterfully done. Absolutely wonderful. I still love the dwarves. I still love Elrond. I still love the way that they're portraying Sauron. I still love... I also didn't like that they recast the guy who's like Adar, and even that actor was good, but it still just wasn't as good as Season 1 Adar. Because that guy was the best part of Season 1, and then when he got recast, I was like, oh, this might be bad. But then anyway, it's up and down, but some of it was just bad.
Interesting.
What's number 3 for you?
Megalopolis.
Oh yeah.
One of the. I'm pretty sure.
Go back to the curb.
I'm trying to think. Okay. This is the only movie on my list that I walked out at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, because I had to get back to the curb. Yeah, it was just, look, I don't even have to go into detail. I was hopeful. My mistake.
You mean you were entitled?
I was hopeful that this movie would blow me away. I was like, there is a chance that this could be like one of the coolest movies of the year.
It wasn't. Yeah.
It wasn't.
So, big promise, big director, second time he's done this in his career. It was bad.
Yeah, his career's over.
Great. Number 2, War of the fucking Rohirrim. This was really bad. I did not like it. We've been over it. If you want to hear me talk about it more, listen to the episode on it. Biggest things that I don't like, the pacing's way fucking weird. There's stuff in it that just doesn't make sense. It tells the story from an obnoxious, Mary Sue perspective, and I never fucking say Mary Sue perspective. I have 2 things on my list that are very much Mary Sue this year. Damsel and this. And it's not that they're Mary Sue. I want strong female characters, just not these ones.
Well, when it's shoehorned and forced, and I was talking to people, and this made me feel better about our conversation.
Yeah.
I was explaining to my DM about, he's a big Lord of the Rings fan, huge Lord of the Rings fan. And I explained to him, I was like, hey, I don't know the story, but here's what happened in the movie. And he was like, no. That's stupid.
No,
and
bad.
He's the progressive person where he's like, I love strong female characters, yada yada. But and everybody I've talked to about this that's progressive is like, yeah, that's not good. So this is just objectively bad.
Let's go over this. Ready? Okay. Strong female characters in the top 5. Alien Romulus, strong female character lead. Wicked, literally about women. Orb, strong female character who's good at math. Dune Part 2. So many fucking strong female characters.
I was gonna say,
Shogun, literally the counterpart to the male lead, is a strong female character.
I was gonna say, Yeah, Dune Part
War of
2.
the Rohirrim just does it wrong, and it doesn't matter if it was a dude, even if it was like even if it was a dude in the shoes of this female character, I still wouldn't have liked it.
And that's how you know, because Dune Part 2, Longlegs, Fallout, Moana 2, Wicked, Arcane. Those
We're getting the stories that are good with strong female characters.
And I agree with you. You could switch out Lord of the Rings. You could switch out Hera for anybody, even if it was a new male character. I would be like, this is still fucking stupid.
Yeah,
he wears a wedding dress.
What's the male version of a Mary Sue?
Chad?
Yeah. Like, I don't like Chad movies, and I don't like Mary Sue movies.
Sorry for all the Chads. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That's
number 2. What's your number 2?
The Crow.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Yeah, I'm glad.
See, I didn't make you watch that one.
I'm glad. I'm glad you didn't make me. You almost did.
I did.
You actually were talking me into it, and then I was like, you know what? I don't have time.
Because
thank God I didn't have time.
Dude, it had the Post Malone, Ozzy Osbourne song over the trailer, FKA Twigs, Bill Skarsgård. It looked like it had potential.
Yeah.
It was bad. Yeah. Also, real quick, before you say your number 1, I'm wondering if we're going to have the same number 1. So
I think we are. Do you want to go at the same time? You want to go at the same time?
Yeah, you can.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scar Giver. Yeah.
I just fucking know. Worst movie of the year by far. Light years ahead.
You know what this means? Do you know what this means, though? Next year, we have to watch Part 3.
No.
Because you know it's going to be number 1 again. It's going to be somewhere at least on the top 5 of worst. It's so bad.
That came out. I pushed it so far out of my brain.
I know.
And when I was looking through the things, it was like in February, I was like, or April or whatever, I was like, oh, yeah, that's number 1.
Not only do I barely remember this movie, I fell asleep during like half an hour of it.
Yes, you did. You bitch. I was texting you. I was so mad.
This movie was so bad, I enjoyed not liking it. And not only that, I didn't go back and watch the part I fell asleep during because I was like, that was a waste of my time.
Farming.
Yeah, just nobody needs this. Why is farming in slow motion, Zack Snyder? Why is that in slow motion now? Why are you making up time? Zack Snyder, he's like the guy who gets graded on an essay and the teacher's like, you had too much fluff. And so then he goes and submits an essay that's like twice as much in length and he's like, and there's no fluff in this one. And you're like, actually, I have bad news for you. Yeah, no, so, I think like this just locked it in. Like I really enjoy The Watchmen. I really enjoy 300.
Yeah.
The first, like, those are really great introductions to comic book films. I think his niche and his market. Which one?
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead was good. I think that these were good introductions to films like that. I think he's kind of fallen off. He's kind of lost. I hope Zack Snyder finds something like a different style to present things in because this just ain't doing it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, by all accounts, he seems like a super nice guy.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, and I get he has, like, some pretty, Chad fan base. But, like, I don't know. Like, his movies just don't do it for me.
Yeah, he's got a fan base that he can make a movie like this, and they're still like, this is amazing.
The best director ever.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
Scorsese.
Not the best director ever. This was not good.
I don't want to watch 45 minutes of slow motion farming.
I'm never going to, like, spend any amount of time convincing someone that this wasn't the best film ever. If they think it's the best film ever,
go for it.
Great. I have a long list of other films you might want to watch from my other top 5 worst lists.
Yeah.
And you might love them.
You might like them more.
Have you heard of the Transformers franchise? But yeah. So
you want some honorable mentions for the worst?
Oh yeah. Because I didn't do any honorable mentions for worst. So
I've got some honorable mentions for you.
I did not.
In no particular order.
Okay.
The movie Atlas with Jennifer Lopez.
Didn't watch it.
Titanfall ripoff that I did a video on.
Yep.
The Unfrosted movie with Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
The creation of Pop-Tart.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Very fucking good.
I forgot about that.
He walked back his comment about the left killing comedy.
No,
he said that wokeness and like the left were killing comedy and you can't say anything. This was like a couple years ago or whatever. And then like this year he came out and was like, "Well, I don't actually mean that." I'm
gonna throw this down. I think polarization kills comedy. So, like, to blame it specifically on one side of a polarized political system, I think is dumb. Like, it's polarization that kills comedy, because what ends up happening is people think that comedy also has to involve a stance and an opinion, and it doesn't. No, and we're a comedy podcast, and I know that, and that's my stance and opinion.
That's my stance and opinion.
All right. What else? What
Kung Fu Panda 4. Just a terrible end to that already good trilogy.
Kung Fu Panda?
Kung Fu Panda?
I haven't seen it past 2, I think.
The first 3 are pretty good.
The first 2 were good. I didn't. When it got to 3, I'm like, what more is there for me? Here?
The pandas are still alive, which was kind of teased through the first 2. So it's actually a really cool ending, because you think the pandas are dead. The third one, the pandas are alive. It's a perfect. He's a kung fu
nice
expert.
Little surprise. That's
he's got his family. Everybody's happy. And then the fourth one, they were like, what if we ruin that?
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
It's like as Shrek kept going. It like.
Oh, well,
it was
Shrek
like, oh, this could only get better, but then it didn't.
There's a new Shrek coming.
Oh, pass.
Yeah. I don't like Shrek. Madam Web.
Yep. Still pass on
that. I almost put Craven in here, but like Craven's just not. It's not worth either of them.
Okay.
Argyle.
Oh yeah, I forgot that came out.
I tried to make a video on Argyle for Magnum Opus a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I sat down to write the script, and I was like, no, fuck this movie.
Doesn't it have a great cast in it, too?
Yeah. Oh, my God, does it have a great cast.
Yeah,
Dua
it has
Lipa,
like
John Cena, Henry Cavill, Sam Rockwell, Bryce Dallas Howard, Bryan Cranston.
I love Bryce Dallas Howard.
Dude, yeah.
She's great.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huge letdown. And then the last one I put on here, because I am going to do I have a video coming on it soon.
Oh.
This movie
you're plugging.
Yes. A little bit.
You're plugging, baby.
Elevation, which is a Quiet Place ripoff. It's Anthony Mackie and the girl that plays Deadpool's girlfriend. Can't think of her name.
You were telling me about this last week. It's the aliens that can't go above a certain elevation or whatever, or creatures or something.
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
And it wants to be a quiet place
humans
so bad.
can.
Yeah.
But they're going to have to get back down that mountain.
It's stupid. So stupid.
It's
not so bad.
Just become the Jetsons. Movie over. Just become the Jetsons. Aliens can't touch it, baby.
Just go up to space. You're fine.
Yeah, just go to space. Have you heard of Sprockets?
Sprockets?
Do you remember that show? Where it was the future and everything was like crazy, like technologically advanced, but for some reason, George Jetson works at a fucking cog facility. I mean, probably a metaphor, but he works for Mr. Sprocket selling sprockets, which run all of society.
Nice.
Anyway.
You want the list of, hey, this came out this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jog my memory. I might have seen these.
One of these almost made my honorable mention, but it didn't. And that one, I'll say that one first. Fall Guy with Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling. And
that did come out this year. I didn't see that either.
I would recommend this. It was actually in my top 5 as number 5. But then I was like, ooh, I liked Roadhouse more. So then I bumped it down to like 8. And then eventually it just like.
As you kept thinking, it kept falling down.
And because like it's good.
Yeah.
And I really like it. But I think part of the reason
Fall Guy took a fall on your chart.
Well, the song, there's a song in it that like it's just been stuck in my head since I watched the movie.
You can't like a movie for a song though.
It's a cover of "I Was Made for Loving You."
That's cool,
and it's really good.
That's good.
It's a good movie.
You can like that song.
It's this. I like this cover. It's not an artist I typically like, but
okay. Yeah. Nickelback.
Maybe it'll be on my music episode.
Maybe it will be.
It's on there as an honorable mention. I'll tell you that. Okay. Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire came out this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was.
The Ministry.
I heard that was bad.
It was fun. It was fun.
Okay. Cool.
If you like a giant monkey fighting a giant lizard, like it's fun.
Okay,
and he has a power glove.
Cool.
Ministry.
Yeah, that's kind of comic booky, huh?
It's 100% a comic.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, that's fine.
And it's fun. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, I don't think it's not like I skipped it because I thought I wouldn't like it. I was just like, it's not worth my time right now.
It's a streaming movie. It's a movie for me in theaters. It's a movie for someone like you on
Did
TV.
the Godzilla show come out this year too? Was that this year?
Monarch,
wow.
Yeah, Legacy of Monarch or
what
Monarch
the
Legacy
fuck?
of Monsters.
I did watch that. That was bad.
I forgot about that.
Yep. All right.
Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Oh yeah, forgot.
Pretty decent.
It was fine.
I'm surprised you didn't mention this one at all. Furiosa.
Yeah, it's neither good nor bad.
Okay,
It was kind of just like a spectacle.
You liked it more than me, so I was like, huh.
I did like it more than you, but I didn't like it enough. Like if I had like a top 30.
20? Oh, damn.
I think it would be somewhere towards 20, maybe in the 20s. Yeah.
Okay. Bad Boys Ride or Die. Okay, Bad Boys 4.
You know what? Honorable mention nose prosthetics. Honorable mention Chris Hemsworth with a nose prosthetic doing his best Nigel Thornberry impression. Honorable mention.
The honorable mention is the Nigel Thornberry impression for sure.
Get over here, Furiosa. Fucking anyway.
I need to rewatch that movie, I think.
No.
Give it another try.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, Bad Boys 4. I liked it. Fun, stupid, silly.
Mm-hmm.
Twisters.
Okay.
Good, fun, stupid, silly.
Oh yeah, you saw that.
I did. I saw it twice. It was fun.
Because there was two. Did you need to see it twice?
You got to see it for each tornado. So I
got to see it for each of the
I had to focus on one tornado during one viewing.
We got twins.
And then I had to focus on the other tornado in the other viewing.
And they said the classic catchphrase, "We got twins."
Okay, that actor, I really like him. He's the guy from. Do you ever see Nope?
Yeah.
Anyways.
The guy.
Late Night with the Devil.
It's the guy. It's the guy with the satellite van.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Twins. It's a good. Twisters is fun. We're gonna watch that high. We're gonna watch that high.
Fine.
That's gonna be our high watch movie.
Just look. We'll make a list.
Yeah. Wait, it's a long list. Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah.
I
didn't see that
my
yet.
Honorable mention. It's good. It's a good horror movie.
Oh, cool. Let's bump it up to honorable mentions now.
Yeah, and by the way, these ones that came out, like, I'm not saying these are good or bad. These are, like, just a mix.
Yeah.
Because the next one is the Speak No Evil American remake with James McAvoy.
Okay.
Have you seen the original Speak No Evil?
No.
Okay, so the new one, the American one, changes the ending.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this. Yeah.
And the director of the original was like, Americans are always changing the endings to foreign movies and making them worse. And I thought that was really funny. Yeah,
that does happen.
Because there are some movies, and I think you and I have kind of talked about it, but like when the ending is kind of a bad ending in the sense like the characters don't get what they should have, that can be a good ending in its own.
Or get what they should have, but it's not what you as the person watching the film would want.
Because like, spoiler alerts for Speak No Evil, I don't think either of them are that good, but like in the original, the parents die and the bad guys capture their kid, cut out their kid's tongue, and continue their ruse of like scamming people. That's their whole thing. In the new one, everybody gets out alive and the bad guys die. And
it's a more meaningful ending and goes along with the title to have a tongue get cut out. You know? Yeah.
Anyways.
That would be like if at the end of Old Boy, Odaisu didn't cut out his tongue. You'd be like, the fuck?
Or at the end of Old Boy, he was like, actually, it's not your daughter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, gotcha.
It's your stepdaughter.
Gotcha. This was a Pornhub search the entire time, not a movie. All right.
The movie Civil War. The only Alex Garland movie that I'm not a fan of, and I am very, very much looking forward to his new one next year.
When that came out this year, I remember a lot of people going to see it in like. That shouldn't have come out on an election year. Let me put it that way. It should not. I think the bad choice was releasing this on an election year.
So this
should have come out during midterms.
Well, here's the problem with Civil War, and I'm debating on talking about it on Magnum Opus, but the problem is it doesn't lean enough into the politics
into either direction,
for it to be. Because it focuses on
it's the guy going, I see both sides.
It's pretty much, and like there is something to that where you're following the journalist, played by Kristen Dunst, as she's navigating, going to the White House and everything, and like I think maybe if there wasn't any mention of the Civil War and like you didn't, because like it does that thing where I hate where it gives you just enough of the plot where you're like, okay, I want more, but it never gives you more, so you're stuck in this. Kind of like limbo of not enough but too much information.
Yeah.
And I think that Civil War would have been better if it maybe dialed back some of the Civil War and just focused on what it's like to be an American journalist in the middle of American Civil War and just keep why the Civil War and what's going on out of it and just have her like, navigating through the war of America. Like, I think there was ways to make it better. I love Alex Garland. He's done Annihilation and Ex Machina, and he has a new movie next year, and it looks incredible, called Warfare. Yep. And he wrote and like made this movie with a real life Navy SEAL from the Iraqi War.
That's sick.
So it has Will Poulter in it. It has Jack Quaid in it.
Yep. We
looks
like
really
that.
Good. The Bike Riders came out this year.
What is that?
That's the
Oh, with Tom Hardy.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh, okay.
I didn't like it.
I like Tom Hardy.
At the end, it has a really stupid ending.
Oh, and then who else is in it? The Austin Butler. Yeah,
he's new American Psycho.
He was in Dune 2. That was good.
Dune 2.
Yeah.
The Lego Pharrell Williams movie came out this year.
The what?
Pharrell Williams had a Lego movie about his life made. And it came out this year.
All right, pass. I like Pharrell. Maybe I'll watch that sometime, and
maybe
it'll be entertaining. Who knows? I don't know.
Blink Twice came out this year. The Zoe Kravitz directorial debut.
Oh yeah.
I liked that.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then my last one that I had that I forgot came out this year because I didn't realize M. Night Shyamalan had 2, but Knock at the Cabin.
Oh yeah, that was way early. That was like January.
Dave
wasn't
Bautista.
It? Oh yeah. And I heard that was fine.
Can I spoil that for you because it's not worth watching?
Yeah, go ahead.
I
think you did in the episode where we talk about it.
Yeah, it's M. Night Shyamalan. So the twist is, it's this couple and their daughter at a cabin, and like these 4 strangers show up, and they're like, unless you kill the one of you, like the end of the world's gonna come. And then as they keep denying, the 4 strangers kill each other.
Oh, okay.
And then at the end, it's like ambiguous, but like basically because they didn't do it, the world dies. It's kind of like Cabin in the Woods ending.
Yeah.
The problem is like it's just done really poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
Huh.
I didn't like it.
Interesting.
M. Night Shyamalan had 2 misses for me this year.
You know what else came out this
a lot that I didn't get to.
This movie, that seance one with the hand. Talk to me.
Oh,
I came out this year. I still haven't seen that either.
I saw that in theaters. That was
I
good.
need to see that. I heard it was good. Yeah, Smile 2 came out.
Yeah, I skipped Smile 2 because again, I just think that not worthy of a sequel. But apparently it's pretty good, so maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah, you're like jogging my memory. And then the Zoe Kravitz one made me think of a movie that came out too. That was like along the same lines, but I forget what it was. Oh, The Substance came out too. Yep, that came out this year. Wow. And we're gonna peter out on energy if we just keep mentioning things that we probably haven't seen. There's too much coming out all the time. I think next year I'm gonna kind of continue my pattern of like, if I like something, I'm watching it. If I don't like it from the beginning, I'm probably dropping it fast. Like, there's just too much. I think a big thing, not to get too serious, but like I think a big thing that we need to do as people is like take back our attention span and not feel like we need to watch everything. I think, and there are, even with podcasts, like I can't tell you how many people I meet now who are like, oh, I listen to podcasts more than I listen to music. And it just means that they're listening ad nauseum to podcasts and not retaining as much. Because like once something becomes overproduced or like there's too much of it, that mere exposure effect that I was talking about, it's almost like the mental version of fast food. Like it becomes not good for you. And you know this, I've never been a proponent of binge watching. I've never been a proponent of like watching a whole series of anything or listening to a whole book, or like, because you can't, most of the time you can't read a book in one sitting. If you can, it's shorter intentionally and it's meant for one sitting, right? Like a novella or something up in the realm of 200 pages. But even then, I feel like it's better to retain your focus and the things that you care about. And so maybe that affects like your ability to make a top 5 list. I kind of don't care, you know?
I mean,
like,
I don't disagree. I think
we're listed as a comedy podcast, not a pop culture and entertainment podcast.
No, and like a top 5, like, you know, there's a good chance that like in a week, in 6 months, next year, I'll look at my top 5 and be like, well, actually, I like this more, or I like this less. Like,
I'm gonna forget half the shit that came out this year.
Oh, I already did.
You know, yeah, like we were remembering it actively.
Silo season 2 debuted this year, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get to that.
Yeah, same. I'm like, oh, I gotta watch that at some point.
Severance
like,
season 2 came out this year. Shrinking season 2 came out this year.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
like
see,
there's
like,
so much. I mean, I haven't even gotten to the Skeleton Crew yet. I haven't. You know, I just got to the Penguin. Like,
yeah,
it's exhausting being somebody who loves to consume pop culture. Yeah, and like that's obviously not for everybody. So my goal next year is to not dial it down. But
to dial it up,
yeah.
Oh, really?
So Yeah, my goal is TV is going to take a even harder backseat for me. It
right.
always does. TV's never.
Okay, I'll be the TV guy. You be the film guy.
Honestly, because for me, TV is. I like to put on shows that I've already seen in the background, and then that's just there while I'm doing stuff. My problem with sitting down and watching.
You're a second screen viewer. You're the problem.
Kind of.
Hi.
Luckily, these TV shows are old.
We're all the problem.
It's usually the same TV show. It's just reruns of Psych. But like,
well, that's what people do now, right? You put a rerun on.
Yeah.
But that's what was on fucking TV already anyway, right? Like, and like, it's not like that's anything new. Like, how many people have been watching reruns of Law and Order for decades?
Exactly.
You know,
like, my thing is 8 episodes of Shogun. Right, let's say they're all an hour each. That's 8 hours.
I think there's 10.
Oh, okay. Say there's 10, and they're all an hour, right?
That's 10 hours.
That's 5 movies I could watch.
Yeah.
And like, and that's the thing is like to sit down and watch Shogun is like it's hard for me to sit down and watch TV because there's so long episodes. Whereas Elevation was 96 minutes.
Yeah.
Breeze to watch. It was bad, but like at least it was a breeze. Yeah. Like so, my goal next year, and I've done this twice in my life, so it's time for the third time. I go to the movies every single weekend and see every new release, regardless if it's something I would see or not.
Okay.
So even if it's a movie that I would have no interest in, I still go see it to see what I think.
Yeah, because you've got that movie pass thing or whatever. Yeah, all right.
So my goal is we went over everything that's coming out in 2025. As long as there is a big release on the weekend, my goal is to be there and to see it because I was looking at movies this year that I'm like, man, I didn't watch this, and the chances of me getting back to it slim to none. So
I started reading more toward the end of this year, like just reading. And that takes an incredible amount of time because I'm a slow reader.
Me too.
Admittedly, yep. So I have a feeling I'm going to not see a lot next year and instead be showing up to the podcast with some real life experiences and some shit going on in the real world and people I'm interacting with to talk about. I've been doing a lot more stuff in person. You know, I did a lot of theater in the past year. I interacted with people in communities a lot. And like even today, like I was thinking about it, you know, I've got band practice. I've got people who want to play Commander in Magic the Gathering, like real time, real people things that I think are a lot of fun and worth a lot to me. I think next year for me, I have not been looking up trailers for anything. I saw the Superman trailer came out and clicked on it, right? That was cool. But like I've not been looking up trailers for anything, so I have a feeling people are going to be telling me when things come out. I'll be making small amounts of time for it, but I run my schedule in such a way that like most weekdays, wake up, I'm functioning throughout the entire day. I usually have something interactive at the end of the day. Like I'm going and meeting somebody and talking about their business. I'm going and meeting a potential client. I'm meeting with a client. I'm, sitting down at dinner with people, or I'm going to the gym and training. Like, so like I have a feeling next year it's going to be a lot of you cooking up the content and me reacting to it in real time.
Well, I was going to say, when it comes to next year, I think there's specific movies we should definitely both see and talk about.
But was this year too.
But truthfully,
You mean Rebel Moon Part 3?
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna tell you right now. I go to the movies on Thursday nights. I will let you know if any of these are. If I see a movie that like wasn't on our radar, I'm like, dude, you got to see this because we got to talk about it.
Yeah.
But looking at the list of things coming out, there's only one on the list for next year that I'm like, I think both of us, no matter what, need to see it, and it's Mickey 17.
Oh, yeah. Well, we talked about it already. Yeah, both of us are like, oh, that looks good. I'll go see it.
Yeah, next year's going to be interesting for me. My last day at my old job was yesterday, so I finally am transitioning into a new gig.
Woo!
Back to being remote.
Yeah.
So,
you'll have more time.
I'm going to have a lot more time because I no longer have to wake up and then have like an hour of a morning routine, drive to work an 8 to 5, drive home, take care of my, I lose a lot of time in my schedule just going to an actual building to work.
Yeah.
So my plan next year is to have a better control over my editing, get more ahead, be careful with my long format videos that are over an hour so I don't burn myself out. Because I want to be able to do more outside of my editing studio next year, because this year, and I knew this was going to be the case. This year I spent a lot of time creating and editing and setting myself up. And I missed out on a lot of hikes and like adventures and trips and things. So this year, my goal is to have more time to bring things other than just movies to the podcast.
Yeah. Well, good. It's fun. Like, we're kind of talking about next year. Like, I really, like I said, I see myself just interacting with the communities that I'm in more. I get asked to show up to events and help out with things, and I really enjoy that. So I have a feeling we're going to be coming in with these like different lifestyles and then combining it into this wonderful, don't call it a gumbo. What is it, Odie?
Don't call it a comeback?
No, don't call it a gumbo. I can't call it a gumbo. What kind of food do we cook together? Tacos? We make tacos. We make lifestyle tacos with multiple ingredients. And they're spicy.
Tacos are good.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
How spicy?
Well, I mean, you know what? We're not done with this year yet, though, because next week, and weirdly, I'm more excited to talk about the music of the year.
Oh, okay.
Which is weird because obviously, movies and TV shows are usually my jam.
Yeah.
And music is more, pun intended, your jam.
Yep.
But I am excited because there is a lot of interesting music this year.
Yeah, and music is something that I probably consume the most of because it's like my
Same.
background track
It's
in the
on
morning.
all the time.
If I'm driving, I'm listening to it. Typically, like a lot of the people that I'm meeting that are like, I listen to podcasts more than music. I'm like, that's great. I'm still jamming like
I'm music
songs.
more than podcasts.
I'm learning songs because I'm in a band now. Like, yeah, there's a lot more music in my life, and I'm looking forward to next year, man. I think it's gonna be good. Next week we talk about music. Top 5, bottom 5, honorable mentions. This was fun. I like doing this. I like this structure to this. I feel like it was good. I feel like forcing ourselves to do the top 5 was worthwhile instead of being like, I liked this and I liked that. It made it much more focused. I think that was good.
And it gave me a chance to like putting my hero in there. When I was looking at other movies, like it was fun to put things in there that I think that most people wouldn't have expected.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Like Rebel Ridge, like made number 10, but like that's still one of the movies I'm like, you should watch that because the guy that's in that, he's the voice of Mufasa in the new Lion King movie, which I don't care about, but he's Green Lantern, dude. He's going to be fucking incredible as Green Lantern. Also, real quick, speaking of Mufasa, there are 2 movies that haven't come out yet at the time of recording that could potentially, depending, would have made my top 5.
Okay,
Nosferatu.
Oh, yeah. That comes out now?
It comes out in like 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Christmas Eve.
Okay.
And
a Christmas movie. Nice.
Sonic 3.
Oh, yeah, because you love the Sonic movies. Yeah.
And I just found out, and I'm super excited, they're going to make a Sonic 4. So I'm like, fuck yeah, give me all the Sonic movies.
Yeah.
I love Ben Schwartz, so.
Cool. Nosferatu looks good.
It looks fucking incredible. I'm going to be seeing that
It looks
on
like
Christmas.
It looks like good cinema. What's your jam? You got a quick jam for me?
I got 2 real quick.
Hit me.
If you have a PlayStation, which I do, and I don't play it very much, but I've been missing the Marine Corps lately because I've been talking about some military movies over on Magnum Opus, like Battle LA and Battleship.
Yep.
So I bought on the PlayStation Store a bunch of the Battlefield games are on sale for like $2 each.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I've been taking a break from editing and just allowing myself to get incredibly blazed and play the Battlefield campaigns.
Okay.
Just a good walk down memory lane is Battlefield 4, 2042, and Battlefield Hardline. I love single player, like military-esque campaigns. In Battlefield 4, you play as a squad of Marines.
Cool.
So, like, for me, it fills a hole when I'm missing the Marines. Like, obviously, I never invaded China. I never, fought off enemies on an aircraft carrier. But it is fun to be like, military stuff. And then my second jam is something that I've talked about it before, but it's coming up on that time of the year where I prepare for it. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck is a book by Mark Manson. It is just one of my favorite pieces of literature to read because though I'm not a big proponent of self-help books, I feel like a lot of them are kind of trudging the same la-di-da-di-da. Be happy and do this. I like
it's a person repackaging the same self-help techniques that work for everybody and then selling it to you.
And the reason I like this one, and like I'm not saying this book is perfect, but I think every book like this, there's elements for everybody. Yeah. I like it because he's basically being like, he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He's like, this all sucks. And like, it's not about like just being happy. It's about like knowing where your happiness should lie. It's about caring about what you should care about and not caring about what you don't care about. And I think the message of like, here's what you shouldn't care about, and it's completely up to you. Because, you know, lately I've been having this thing I call my fuck meter, and it's like, there's only so much I only have so many fucks to give during the day, and I'm only going to give those out to things that are worth it. Yeah. You know, like stubbing my toe isn't worth it. My boss getting upset with me because I did something wrong and I made a mistake, it's not worth giving a fuck about. Yeah. You know? So, those are my 2 jams.
Okay, cool.
Very fun, very good, very different.
My jam this week is a manga. It's called Kagurabachi. It's a vengeance tale. It started out as a meme because it was a very edgy-looking, black-haired, sword-wielding anime boy. And as you get into even just the first chapter, it's fucking amazing. The art style is great. The vengeance story is potent. The characters are memorable, and the story just picks up and keeps going. And I can't wait to read more of it.
Should have been an
anime. Is an anime. Oh, cool. Is an anime. Cool. Well, let's get back to it next week.
Wait.
What?
You do that?
No. Don't fucking do it. Don't you